I'm going to show you how to do these hanging signs. You need to get a barn door frame. You're going to need a base object because you're going to be doing a group select trick. I'm using this rug. It doesn't have to be a rug. You may get some plebs telling you that this is a rug glitch. It's not. Take both objects, and the idea is to use a feature of group selects that enables mild clipping properties, which you're going to need to clip the top of this frame into the bottom of a wall. It has to be clipped in, otherwise this next part won't work. You can clip it into either a side of a wall or the bottom of a wall, but you need room to be able to snap this barn wall in its place. It won't work if you haven't clipped the top of this frame into the bottom of a wall or side of another wall. So now you've done that, the next part would be to create a hanging wire effect. This is from my wire glitch tutorial. I'm not going to cover it in detail here, but it's essential that you check that out if you want to do this part. Otherwise you're going to have to skip this. This is probably going to take about 4 minutes, something like that, maybe. I'm just going to quickly cover the basics, but it is essential that you check out the tutorial if you want to do it. I'm not going to go into everything that you need to know, and you do need to know them, because there's ways to avoid a potential game crashing bug. Also, these wires are semi-permanent, so you may find that that wire looks stuck there and you can't get rid of it if you need to. There is a way to do it, but you have to check out that tutorial. There's far too much to cover in this short space of time. But I'm using this wall just so I can place some conduits on that wall, and the idea is to have the conduits just touching the back of this door frame. So when this effect is complete, there's going to be 2 vertical wires coming down from this frame without conduits. So I'm about to cover this method again, but only for people who have seen the tutorial. For anyone else, this isn't for you. So create a normal wire to the spare conduit, which is this pylon. Take it off from the right end. I've shown you how to do that in the tutorial. You then have to get a red highlight far away. That's why it didn't work. As of the new 1.5 patch, you have to do that further away. I'm quite used to the old method. So take it about 15 meters or so away. That's where you get your red highlight, and then press the cancel action, and then delete the original conduit it was attached to. There's your glitch wire that you can place absolutely anywhere you want, if you remember. Now we're going to take advantage of the auto snap feature of this second conduit. We're not going to place it there, we're just going to let it auto snap to and then cancel that action. Do not place it there. Then you have to leave workshop mode and then re-enter it, if you remember. Now we're going to repeat that process again for this second vertical wire. I just want to reiterate, if you haven't seen that tutorial, don't attempt this. There's going to be some strange quirks that you will encounter and ways to avoid them, but I'm not going to cover them here. Okay, so now you've built your wires, you're free to delete everything around them, including the conduits. And if you remember from the tutorial, you can put that wire glitch in a semi-permanent state now, or you can just leave it. Because you're going to be putting a sign through it, they already have inbuilt clipping properties, so that will clip straight through that wire anyway. So now you're going to hang a sign on a pre-existing wall. It has to be a pre-existing wall. So the idea is we're going to use group select to take this sign off of the wall and place it underneath the wires that you've just created. Okay, here I've just remembered that I haven't really figured out the right height for this sign. So I'm just going to go back and take a look and make sure I'm going to align this sign to the right height of this pillar. Okay, so that's roughly where I want the height of that sign to be in relation to that pillar. Right, so with all group selectrics, the idea is getting your camera angles right and looking at the visual cues. I'm not in the right camera alignment there, so I've switched the camera alignment. Now I'm going to use the visual cues. Here it's the wires. You can see that they're just poking through at the same time. If they're poking through at the same time, then you know that you've got that aligned straight. Now it's just a case of adjusting it until those wires disappear. Take your time with this. It's worth spending a minute or so just to make sure, otherwise you're going to have to start that whole process again. So this is the finished product. The picture that I showed you at the beginning with the two signs were actually a slightly different method, but this is much easier to show you and much easier to do. This was done on a floor, as you can see, on the first floor. I didn't actually have a floor to work with on the two that I did do. I'm not actually going to keep this one here, but it's just a demo. I think it highlights the technique and shows you an easy method to do it. If you need a harder technique, if you need to do this somewhere where you haven't got a floor, then you can come and find me on Reddit.